G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering all the craziness from today's heats. I said in yesterday's video, I was going to post another video before this one, but there was just too much that happened today. I had to make a video about this. As soon as heats ended, I jumped straight on to record this. I just don't even know what's happened today. We had Clix's team go up against Prhzy's team at Sweaty Sands. We knew it was going to get ugly, but it absolutely exploded on social media. Bizzle was getting so much hate from everyone. Then everyone was saying Bizzle shouldn't get any hate. Clix was flexing gold chains and nice cars. It was just ridiculous. But in the end, Clix's team didn't even make it to reboot round. They didn't even make top 17. We also had Benjyfishy, Matzo, and Amplify also not even make it to reboot round. We have Benjyfishy's statement on why that is. Matzo is talking about quitting for good. Also, we had a whole bunch of other drama. Paper's team getting contested to the point where Paper just went off on social media, went off in Twitch chats, to the point where a lot of people thinking he might even get banned off the social media platforms he was freaking out on. We had Scoped clutch up a Game 6 solo victory royale. Yes, Game 6 solo victory royale in trios. They were in 8th. It clutched them the top 6, and now they're straight through into the finals. I'm going to cover it all in full detail with clips. Let's just jump into it. We got a lot to talk about, but we'll start off with the big one. It was Clix's team versus Prhzy's team at Sweaty Sands, and it went about how I expected. I mean, actually, a little bit different. I would say by most people's fair count, Gabe's team did win about 4 out of the 6 games, but a lot of the times, you know, Clix's team would take the loot and split, or sometimes they'd fight. It wasn't as clear cut, but all I know is, just like I predicted, both teams did not get top 6. Actually, Gabe, Prhzy, and Sprite just managed to get a 17th place, which means they are through into the reboot round, and based on how well they play when they have uncontested Sweaty, they could potentially make it through to finals. So their tournament hasn't been as badly griefed as what Clix's team is. Clix's team came in 32nd place, so second last. They only got 18 points in the 6 games. They went down on spawn pretty much every game, or when they did make it out, they didn't really get past 18th place. That was their highest placement. Of course, when Clix is involved in these teams, it all went to social media. Everyone freaked out, and same as always, Bizzle seemed to cop a whole bunch of hate. Bizzle ended up copping so much hate, he has now gone trending on Twitter again. It's insane to see. You had a lot of pros hating on Bizzle, then you had a lot of pros coming out and saying, why is everyone hating on Bizzle? This is too much, and I know you guys are going to ask my take on it, so I'll give it. I think it's a bit too much. I think it is too much. I get it. I know Bizzle smack talks. I know he talks a lot of crap, especially on EU as a region sometimes, or EU pros or EU players, so I know why they're targeting. But at the end of the day, I feel like pros kind of have the right to smack talk each other. They can insult each other because at least they're playing, they're there. I don't blame Gabe, Prhzy, Sprite for talking any smack they did on social media. Even some other pros, even if you have pros like Tayson coming out, he gave his opinion. We had, I think it was Prhzy giving his opinion as well, saying that Bizzle deserves to be hated on because he does talk so much smack. I think they can kind of have those opinions because they're the ones who he's been smack talking. But I think when there's, you know, just fans and casuals who get on social media, and I don't mean just saying, oh, you know, Bizzle's bad, lol, oh my god, Clix should split Bizzle, like, that's kind of normal. But today it went to a whole nother level. Some of the stuff I was reading was just disgusting. You can't say that to another human being, and your defense can't be, oh yeah, but he said that EU's bad. That doesn't mean you can give him death threats and just say some of the stuff I was seeing. It ruins a lot of the fun of it. I like a bit of smack talk. It makes things intense, right? When Prhzy posts a meme about him posing in a photo next to the reboot van with Bizzle inside it, that's a bit funny, right? At least it's funny, and he's the pro player who's smack talking Bizzle because he beat Bizzle. But when you have little Jimmy and Timmy saying that Bizzle should kill himself because he's not good at Fortnite on spawn fighting, like, it blows my mind. And Bizzle wasn't even doing that insanely terribly from what I could see. I went back and watched the replays. Yeah, everyone knows Bizzle doesn't have the flashiest, most insane mechanics. He's not the fighter on the team. He's not the wager warrior. Even Clix always coming out to defend Bizzle, saying like, look, it's a team game. And I think a lot of this sadly detracts from how good Gabe, Prhzy, and Sprite are. I would put Gabe, Prhzy, and Sprite up there as one of the best Sweaty Sands teams in the world. I think them going up against Tayson on even ping would be very interesting to see. And I know Tayson won't agree with me. He was in my stream the other day saying if he was on 0 ping, he'd 6-0 them. But for me, watching from the outside in, Gabe Tahi, Sprite are some of the best fighters in the world, especially in NA East, and they know Sweaty Sands well. I think the biggest issue here was the fact that Clix's team didn't try to leave. But when there's this much beef going on, there's this much drama, there's this many eyes on Clix, you've got to imagine they're not just going to up and leave. So it was interesting, and unfortunately, it has almost left both teams griefed. If Gabe Tahi Sprite can't win one of the 3 reboot rounds games tomorrow or today when you're watching this video, then I'm gonna be super sad. But at least it was entertaining, and I mean, Bizzle's gone trending on Twitter for a second time, and he doesn't seem too phased by it. If I was Bizzle, man, like, I'm pretty thick-skinned, I'm a content creator, I get a fair bit of heat on the internet, but man, Bizzle was copping it today. Moving on to the second team that didn't make top 17, that didn't even make it to reboot round, and this one was such a big upset to me. Clix's one, I kind of saw coming with the off-spawn fighting, but Benjyfishy, Amplify, and Matzo coming in 20th place on 80 points. They needed 7 more points to get top 17, so that is it. They can't even play reboot round. Benjyfishy, Matzo, and Amplify are done, and it looks like they're potentially done for as a team as well. Matzo even going onto social media to say that he is going to quit and asking if you could sell a YouTube account. So I mean, at that point, it's looking like it's pretty clear that Matzo's just had enough with it. I mean, their best placement today was a 3-elim 8, so just a real big, you know, letdown for a team that had a lot of expectation on them. And so far this season in the qualifiers hasn't been looking too insane, but last season looked really solid, and I did think that as the lobbies got more stacked, they were going to bring it back. It wasn't like they were contested on spawn or anything. They did have their drop spot uncontested. They just took some really aggressive fights and some interesting pushes that I just don't think were worth it. Benjyfishy came to Twitter to say why he didn't do so well. He said, even though it feels not qualifying for grands, I think I needed it. I didn't play last season and was able to get top 5, so thought I could do it again this season, but it didn't work. Gonna try my best to grind like I did before. So again, I had to respond to that. That's the GOAT mentality to have, not blaming anyone, just saying, look, I didn't put the preparation in, I didn't take it seriously enough, but it does feel terrible. I want to perform, and he's gonna be back next season. With Amplify also saying that he's just not really enjoying the game right now. The only thing he's sad about is not making the money, so it seems like he's just not as motivated to play, which means Benjyfishy might not only be looking for a new teammate, he might be looking for a new trio altogether. So people have started going crazy saying Mongrel, Benjyfishy, and Aqua, and I mean, that'd be really cool to see. I don't know. We'll have to see how this one plays out. There's been no rumors. I haven't really seen anything concrete, just a bunch of pros kind of impression farming and making jokes about it, but I mean, it could work potentially. Whatever happened this season, unfortunately, didn't work for Benji's team. And if it doesn't work and you're playing with 2 people who've now said that they're just not that motivated to play, which could also explain why Benjy wasn't grinding as heavily as well. I feel like if your teammates aren't that motivated, you're all just trying to skate through for easy money, it's not a great environment to be in, especially for Benjy, one of the biggest grinders in the scene. So I hope he lands with a really solid team. And man, seeing Benjy and Mongrel back together and then potentially Aqua, I'm all here for it. Now, a lot of teams were contested today, and a lot of them took to social media to vent their frustration, but no one did it, I don't want to say better, but no one did it bigger than what Paper did. Paper took to social media and absolutely went off on the team contestant Holy Hedges. It was Sharkman's team, but just in Sharkman's defense, before this goes on anymore, he is a player that drops Holy Hedges. Their team has been going Holy Hedges. They weren't out to target Grief Paper. When it went to social media, the backwards and forwards got a little bit intense, and maybe things were said that shouldn't be said. I mean, a lot of it's now since been deleted, but I didn't like that a lot of people don't realize Sharkman is a Holy Hedges team. I know it's still frustrating when a team that ended up coming 32nd is, you know, griefing a team that's placing really well, but I feel like that term griefing gets thrown around a lot. I know it's frustrating, I know it's upsetting, but to me, griefing is when you're deliberately doing it with no intention to play the game how you normally do, just to cost another team a placement. Some of the things they did in the games was a little bit interesting, but again, Paper didn't really do a good job of keeping things civil. I'm not going to go through the tweets. I'm not going to go through the messages because Paper's deleted a lot of them. And I'm hoping he regrets saying some of the stuff he did, because it was, Yeah, it was really bad. I feel like a lot of it was quite far across the line, and I feel like for his sake of his social media accounts, I mean, a lot of people came to my chat and started asking me, is Paper going to get banned? Is Paper going to get banned? I mean, at this point, he hasn't, and it looks like he's not going to, and I don't want to start hashing up the messages so there's just evidence so he can get banned, but I really hope Paper deleting them maybe made him realize that he needs to, you know, rein it back in a little bit. At the end of the day, I know there's a lot of money on the line. I know it's a competitive esport, but you can't be treating people like that. He has since tweeted, the depression of not qualifying has kicked in, and if I don't win tomorrow, I will have nothing left. So clearly, this does mean a lot to Paper, so I get it. But yeah, I had to mention that in the video because I know a lot of you guys are asking about it. I'm not going to show the message or the tweets because that's just not what I'm about. All right, we've had a lot of negatives. We've had a lot of teams grief, no one qualifying. Let's focus on a positive. Let's talk about how Cease, Scoped, and Tragics managed to clutch up a top 6 in Heat C. And I say Cease, Scoped, and Tragics, and Cease and Tragics played fantastically. They went an entirely new drop spot. They dropped Craggy Cliffs, so Cease has done his research. They only went down once that I could see to Storm Surge, so honestly, well played to them. But man, the story was Scoped at the very end. They ended up getting 3rd place overall. They got a 2-elim 2nd place, which was by Scoped as a solo. That was their 2nd best game. Their best game being a 6-elim 1st, where Scoped managed to win the game as a solo. And I'm not saying like, you know, his teammates went down in 3rd and then he like beat a duo. No, I mean like his teammates went down and he made an entire 2 rotating zones as a solo to clutch up the win, which dropped them from 8th place up into 3rd place. Let me show you the clip from the official broadcast when I was commentating because I was losing my mind.
Not just yet. It is now a 3-way battle here. Sticks and Knifer, Zemo, and his full tree of Dequented. Scope as a solo up above, just lurking, watching nearby, trying to let everyone else do the hard work for him. There it is. The tracking is good, but it's not going to be enough. Just a couple tags here. Now the reset, the heals. Oh, that's white tags. That's a knock. Aussie, he got a knock off the Dequented. Okay, I think he's punched his way. That's 139 now.
I think Scoped has done it, but Scoped can win this. He's
gonna clutch.
This has come down to a 1v1. Scoped can win this. He's clutched up a 2nd place today by himself.
Oh my gosh.
He's clutched the top 6. He has to, but can he get the victory out? Scoped is trying to find an angle.
He's going in.
That big thump. He gets the edit off. He can't close it out. He's trying to find his way through the 48.
Oh my gosh.
You are ridiculous. Moving over to some of the smaller regions as well, we had an absolutely gut-wrenching moment as Rice9, Juice, and Tomu potentially missed out on getting a top 6 finish because of a Raptor. Let me show you what happened.
Yeah, there's just so much in this area in terms of utility. And I also want to note, I think that's the first time we've seen the Primal Shotgun be fired, except...
Oh,
sir.
Oh, no, it doesn't go through. It doesn't go through.
There's... Sir. Normally I'm not speechless. We talk about min-maxing and...
Yeah, you just watched a Raptor grief the reboot, which means that that team didn't end up getting a top 6. Now, they were a little bit more down on the leaderboard, but you never know. They came in 13th place on 104 points. They're still in the reboot round, but they could have had the pop-off game they needed for a top 6 there, but just watching someone get taken out by a Raptor, I have a feeling Rice thought that if he goes down to the Raptor, but his teams get rebooted, they can then just pick up his card and they're fine. But if you go down, even once the reboot animation is done, if the rebooting itself isn't done, the reboot doesn't go off. OCE kicked off with a bang yesterday with Heat 1, Prhzy, Vorttex, and Sunz winning the first 4 games in a row, then not winning the 5th game, and then winning the 6th game. They won 5 games out of 6, getting 289 points, and their worst game was a 10-elim win, other than that 22nd place. So they got a 10-elim win, 13-elim win, 15-elim win, 19-elim win, 0-elim 22nd, and then a 10-elim win. I mean, just ridiculous. And I know what you're going to say, oh, it's OCE, Aussie. And I agree, OCE heats with 3 heats. Yeah, they're not, you know, fantastic, but 5 wins out of 6. Like, there was active surge in every one of these games, in every single essence. You had Oreo's team in that lobby. You had Repulse's team in that lobby. You had good names in there, and they couldn't manage to take a single, except for Repulse's team that got 1 single victory out off them. Like, man, hats off to Prhzy, Vorttex, and Sunz. That's a way to make a statement coming into finals. I was going to wait to have this video combined with reboot round, but I already looked at how much I had to cover and I was like, I'm going to have to do an entirely different video on the reboot round. I think my plan is, depending on how much happens in the reboot round, I might do the reboot round video and then break down the top 33 teams that are now into the finals, look at who's looking the best at anything like that, unless for some reason enough goes on in the reboot rounds where I can just make an entire video on it and then make a separate video talking about drop spots and where everyone's going. But that does it for today's video. I know I said I was gonna miss this video and do it a day later because I've got a sponsored video going up soon, but I couldn't miss this, man. Heats was absolutely ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below anything that you thought happened today that maybe I should have talked about, or any input you have on how ridiculous this was. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.